Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's David Webb.
I'm Ariel Edwards.
Batwoman is back. Well, the show, not the character. We get nerdy nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. So here we are. It is 2021. Batwoman, the character Kane, was introduced in 2019, originally played by Ruby Rose, who I first met in Orange is the New Black, and I think is a really talented actress. But obviously she left the show, and part of that probably had to do with the fact that she broke her back filming the first season of the show.
Yeah.
And so I understand the move.
Yeah, I think I would leave as well.
And you know, there's probably other reasons. We're not going to get into that. We don't know why. We're here to talk about the fact that season 2 premiered last night, and we've watched it.
Yeah.
And there's a new Batwoman in town.
Yep.
Ryan Connor?
I didn't even catch her last name.
Ryan something.
I know her name's Ryan. They said it a few times.
Yeah. Ryan and Ryan Wilder. The only reason I don't know that is because she is not a comic book creation. This is a character that was created for the show following Ruby Rose's departure. And this show has come back now with a new Batwoman.
Yes, it has.
It's an interesting episode of television. This is a full spoiler chat. We're not going to do non-spoilers. If you want a quick non-spoiler thing, it's okay.
Yeah. If you are here and you don't want to be spoiled, I have not seen season 1, I cannot. I cannot make the comparison. But it's fine. Aggressively so.
Yeah. So just jumping right into it, I think the problem this episode has is not necessarily anyone's fault. It's the weakest parts of this episode are them trying to essentially shoehorn Ryan Wilder to be a season 2 character without her getting to have a season 1. And so there are a couple of monologues that she gets that are essentially the writers being like, we have to kind of get everyone up to speed on what's going on really quickly. Yeah,
it's just a word dump of exposition, and it's cringy.
It's a little cringy.
Yeah. Which is too bad because I do want to give credit where it's due. I think that the team did a good job with the hand that they were dealt.
Yeah.
Obviously, they weren't expecting Ruby Rose to leave.
Well, and it's not even like this is the first episode of season 2, and season 1 ended, and like they literally left. So what happened? For those of you who don't know, Batwoman season 1 ended early because of COVID-19.
Yes.
So they weren't even starting from a fresh slate. They still had to finish off, and all of the DC shows are gonna have to do this. Flash, Supergirl, all of their next seasons start with the ends of last year.
Yes.
So this was a very unclean break. This is a difficult thing they pulled off here. And I think they mostly pulled it off. I think that telling the ending of the story of Tommy Elliott, who, most people call Hush from the comics, I think that they managed to end that storyline from last season in this one okay. I kind of wish Tommy Elliott was going to stick around more. Felt a little quick to get rid of such a big villain in the Batman canon.
Yeah, the concept of him is really interesting, and I was sad I didn't get more of that. I was like,
well, there's more last season as well.
Yes, but still, like the idea of him feels like a multi-season villain, just to me.
Or at least like the big bad of a season.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of being like Alice's sidekick for an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that the way that he is taken down is so violent. We were literally like, did she just murder Hush?
Yeah.
Is this new Batwoman's first thing murder?
Here's the thing, the weirdest part about it is his death was so jarring, not really because of the violence, not because of how it was done, but because, spoiler, his face prosthetic comes off and is like here, and he looks absolutely like mutilated for the first shot, and you're like, what happened to that guy? And then when they go back to him later, you see that that's what has happened. But for a moment, he looked like unrecognizable, like inhuman. It was very, very odd.
Well, and it's also odd because in the comics, Hush is literally like he has plastic surgery to change his bone structure and whatnot to look like Bruce Wayne. But then when they cut to that sequence, it looks like it was just like
a Mrs. Doubtfire mask.
But here's the problem with that: the actor who plays Bruce Wayne, who I don't actually have his name up. Warren Christie. Warren Christie is a muscular, like, square-jawed man.
Yeah.
And the actor who played Hush last season doesn't have the same body structure and, like, head structure.
Yeah.
So they needed to... I reasonably thought that Alice had done, like, the full plastic surgery on him. They went full Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And they just kind of did the Joker mask from the New 52, where the Joker cut his own face off and then stapled it back on. It's really messed up. It's, like, really, really twisted. And so he has, like, a decomposing face on his face it's wild. So it was just, I was like, that's...
I mean, I went with Mrs. Doubtfire, but sure, we can go with that analogy.
Well, I think, but I'm going with that analogy because I think it's a Batman villain. It's the same, you know.
Fair. I was like, that's so dark.
It is very dark.
Okay.
It is it's very dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's super weird too. The GCPD, like, has his face for a while, like, in the GCPD, and you're like, why wouldn't you just destroy it? It's like biological, like, anyway. Something for in what 8-year-old comic book now. I think the show will settle, and I think that there's a lot of potential here. I like Ryan Wilder as a character in this show, just because she's a little spunky, and, like, Ruby Rose's Kate Kane was stoic, was very stoic and, like,
militaristic.
Yeah, a little bit, and just a little, like, intense all the time. And I think that this show has a lot of that, especially because of the crows, and there's a lot of characters who are very by the books. And I think that introducing a Batwoman at the center of this that has a little bit more freedom and a little bit more play in her, and we talked about it when we watched the trailer, like, I really like the moment where she pops down and says boo to the villains.
Yeah.
I like that in the full version she says boo and then he just grabs her and throws her on the ground because she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, I thought that the play of her not really knowing how to be Batwoman was handled kind of well. She learned really quick. She got really good at being Batwoman really fast.
Yes, she did. Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah. The next time she uses the hook shot, she's like, out of there.
Yeah, she just knows exactly how to use it. Here's the thing. I didn't like it, and I feel like if there hadn't been that light of Ryan, in the middle of this, like, very dark show, I would have liked it even less. Maybe I should have watched the previous episodes and seen Ruby Rose's Batwoman for comparison. But, like, everyone is so morose and dark.
Well, to be fair, their like, best friend / daughter just died.
No, I know, but even before that moment, like, when they don't know, obviously they're frantic. But everything, there's no humor written anywhere else in the show. Really, except for her. And so, you know, those moments were really nice when you had a breath of relief, you know, some comic relief thrown into this very dark show, you know, because she doesn't know how to be Batwoman yet. There's these moments that she brings into it that if those weren't there, I would like it even less.
Well, and I feel bad for everyone else involved because they have this, like, weird double duty of having to tell two stories. The other actors are in a really tough bind of, like, they have to tell the story of this new girl, particularly Luke and Mary, her sister, and Luke Fox, who is the Bat team. They're in a difficult position having to basically, like, give this eulogy episode to Kate Kane while also introducing Ryan,
a brand new Batwoman. Yeah.
And so Javicia Leslie kind of had it easiest in this episode because she just kind of had to do her job as the new Batwoman, and, you know, she has the one scene where she's reading the newspaper article about Kate Kane, but other than that, she doesn't have to do as much reflection. Whereas the rest of whenever it's not about her, this episode is just doing its best to get past this thing that happened to the show that is not in the show. And I think for my take, I was like, okay, if you can get to the end of this episode and get through all of this to the point where next week when I tune in, it's not so much about this, and I don't have to be thinking about the real worldness of this show as much next week, great. On the flip side, I'm hoping that this doesn't become, like, a season long reflection on season 1.
Yeah.
I hope they move on. I think they're going to. I think the tease at the end that Ryan has been like infected by the kryptonite is going to set up some really interesting storytelling. I like that. You know, one of my favorite villains in the DC Berlanti universe is Alice, because of the reason that she's so personally connected to Kate, because they're twins. And so the fact that they brought in a new Batwoman and Alice is still the villain, but they've given the new Batwoman, Ryan, a really personal connection to Alice as well, so that she stays, you know, I think Rachel Skarsten gives an incredible performance on the show. I know a lot of people think, I have heard the talk that it's over the top. I think that...
I didn't love it, but...
Well, you haven't seen the setup of it, though.
No.
She's crazy. And, like, she knows that she's crazy, and she plays up the drama intentionally. It's like, what she enjoys. And so she's, you know, there's times where she's not as crazy, but when she wants to, she plays it up. The character is overacting in a way, and it's intentional. And I think that Rachel Skarsten is very talented and charismatic and like pulls that off for my taste. And so I'm glad that there's still a personal connection between her and the new Batwoman. Obviously, her gang killed Ryan's adoptive mother. I'm not happy that happened, obviously. But for the sake of the show, that personal connection is still there between the hero and the villain.
Yeah.
But in a different way. It's a huge difference. In the first season, Kane is more than willing to let Atlas get away with some stuff because she's trying to save her sister. Ryan Wilder is not going to have that same kind of care. No.
And, like, we very clearly see when she, like, murders fake Bruce Wayne.
She doesn't murder him. He's alive.
He's alive?
Yeah, they say in the episode that he's going back to Arkham.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she doesn't murder him. She just looks like she murders him.
It looks like she murders him, and so, yeah, I think she's gonna just have no problem going balls to the wall.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff in this episode that's a little silly. The Batmobile of it all is very odd. The fact that they're on the, like, 50th floor, I don't know how high up, but they're, like, on the top of Wayne Tower, and there's a Batmobile in the Batcave, and you're like... Or no, wait, maybe once they go through that thing, there's an elevator. I don't remember.
So wait a second. They put a literal cave on the top of the...
We'll deal with that later.
I'm sorry. Okay, they have put a literal cave on the top of a tower.
I mean, no, I think it's an elevator. I think the elevator goes down to the bottom. The question of why the Batcave is in the middle of Gotham is weird. Yeah, so there's an elevator.
But it's at the bottom of the tower.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
If I don't remember season 1.
That makes more sense. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like.
Yeah, but it's still the fact that Luke didn't know that the Batmobile was there. But Tommy did. And then he gets in the Batmobile, and even though the Batmobile hasn't been driven in at least 3 years, it has gas. It's a little bit of the Wonder Woman 1984 thing of like,
oh, vehicles,
I guess it's still fine.
Vehicles just always work.
Vehicles just...
Except when they don't, conventionally, for plot reasons.
Without Luke knowing it, the Batcave just keeps the Batmobile ready to go on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alfred sneaks in every once in a while and fuels it up.
Like buffs the rims.
That was my favorite joke in the whole episode when Tommy is chasing her, Ryan, in the car.
She's got like this big van.
Luke is like, you have to get away from him. And she's like, how am I supposed to outdrive the Batmobile? I don't even have hubcaps. And I was like, girl, same.
Yeah.
Girl, same.
Yeah, it was great. There were a few moments like that that I really enjoyed. Like I said, especially with those humorous moments with Ryan. Yeah. Like she was.
I think that she is great, and I think that she has the potential to be great in this universe.
Yes.
I'm excited to see her play around with other characters in the Berlantiverse. Yeah,
I really liked her. I liked what they did with her. But the writing was so cringy that I will not be continuing to watch the show.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, you didn't watch season 1, so...
I didn't watch season 1.
I didn't expect you to be like, I'm in.
And that episode didn't make me want to go back and watch season 1.
Which I guess in a way is kind of the failure of this. This is kind of this was their chance to hard reboot. Because, let's be honest, Batwoman, of the CW shows, Batwoman... Well, hasn't
done well.
It hasn't done well in the ratings, to be honest. And, it's not my favorite one. it's hard to top The Flash for me, just because The Flash is a show that I love so much.
But that's what I was hoping for, is something that would be like, oh, cool, I want to go watch the rest of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I was kind of excited for that. And this was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that Javizi Leslie is going to do a great job.
She's fun. I'm going to keep watching it.
Yeah, from what I've seen of this episode. But there was just too much bad dialogue, and it was very dark, and I will not be watching it.
I'll keep you up to date on the season as it goes, because I watch all of these shows.
Yes, I'm proud of you.
Greg Berlanti, I have given so much of my life to you.
That should be the TikTok of how do you know your boyfriend won't leave you. It's just you saying that. Greg
Berlanti, I've given so much of my life to you. Yeah, I'm in the bag on this stuff. You know that. Like, I love superhero TV shows. I like these shows. This is gonna sound like a diss, but it isn't. I like these shows because I can put them on and I don't have to give them all of my attention. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean that they're pulpy in a way that I like. They remind me of, like, they're not serious graphic novels. They're like the pulpy comics that you pick up week to week. And I enjoy that about them. I enjoy that they're a little bit soapy. I like all of those elements. There's just enough action and comic booky flair that, like, I get a little thrill each episode. And
that's
when I want to clean and work, and, like, when I want to have something on, these are the shows I like to have on. And Batwoman, you know, it's got highs and lows for me. Sometimes it's really, really great, and sometimes it is a little cringy. And this episode had both of those things. It had the best and the worst of the show, in my opinion. And I'm gonna keep watching it, though. I think Javicia Leslie's kind of cool, and I like seeing a Batwoman. She kind of reminds me of, like, in the comics when Dick Grayson took over as Bruce Wayne. Just because Dick has more of that playful, bantery kind of Bat character. And so I'm hoping that this continues to go in that direction.
Yeah. And I hope that she's not just perfect at everything right away. Please don't do that. I know the episode's already, like, filmed and everything, but, like, dear God, please. Like, let her figure it out. Let her learn. Let us see her fail. Because that's what's fun. And not in, like, a mean, like, not in a negative way, but that's how we connect to characters.
Yeah.
Is watching them through their highs and their lows. And yeah, I know that what I say obviously is not going to influence what happens, but I just wish that for all you people who are going to be watching Batwoman.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I wish they'd given her a stronger backstory as far as her abilities, because, like, her being good at karate.
She used to teach martial arts. Yeah, I was like, okay.
We went from someone who was literally in, like, what was it? The military, whatever the military school's name is.
Oh,
like,
right.
Like, the last Batwoman was, like, a trained soldier who still, then, had to figure out how to be Batwoman. Like, wasn't, like, good at it right away. This girl taught martial arts. I was like, you could have written anything. This character isn't from the comic. Like, you're not stuck in anything. And you kind of went with something that I'm like, okay, so she'll
figure it out, we hope. Like,
knowing how to do martial arts doesn't actually make you, like, nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm hopeful. Because I've been, you know what? My superhero shows went off the air a year ago, and it's been a lot. Usually I only have to wait, like, 2 or 3 months in between seasons. Now it's like, it's been a year. I'm ready for them to be back. Flash is coming back. Supergirl's my shows are coming back. My stories, and I'm ready for them. Are you checking out Batwoman? Are you going to check out the others as they come back? Are you checking out Superman and Lois? We're finally going to have a Superman show on TV, and Tyler Heckman's. One last thing I want to talk about. Oh. We have a Batwoman show. A Batwoman show that has a black Batwoman, and every single member of her team is a person of color.
Yeah.
Luke Fox and Mary are both people of color. The like, actual team in the Batcave is all people of color, and I think that should be celebrated. I think that is a really cool thing for the show to do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't notice, and I think that's a kind of good thing.
Yeah, I mean, the show...
You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, those people are in the roles that they are portraying. Like, it wasn't like, oh, they were trying to check off boxes. It didn't feel like that at all. It was just really nice. And, like, it didn't stick out to me.
Yeah, know? I appreciated that they never tried to play up the... Ryan is black and Luke is black, and that, like, they didn't try and lean into that as far as Ryan being like, you should understand you're also, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't make it about that.
Yeah.
Ryan made it more about her personal experience and made it about his personal experience, and that, you know, their skin color wasn't this, like, overriding factor that pushed everything else to the side. They were still the characters were able to maintain everything about themselves and not just become their skin colors in those moments.
100%.
And sometimes shows force that.
Yes.
And they didn't, which actually I for Batwoman I thought might happen, and I think they handled it really well.
Yeah, I would agree.
Is that did I phrase that okay?
No, I mean, I got your point. I think that a lot of times in like in modern media, people are like, just so you know, we're inclusive, and they shove it in your face, and you're like, okay, just let them be people. They're humans. And it was very human, and I appreciated that. I appreciate it. I like Javicia Lexi. I think she's fun. She's I'm excited to watch her be in the suit, which is the best thing I can say about one of these shows. Like, I want to see them in the suit. I want to see them interact. I want to see her meet the other superheroes. Especially some of the characters from, like, obviously Supergirl, just because of the Kane connection. Obviously Batman, or Superman, rather. Hopefully Batman. Are we going to get it this year? We have the actor. We have Bruce Wayne now. Let's see.
I also want to, and like the character in Black Lightning too, I think would be interesting. I think there's a lot of room to play here. I just want her to be on the Justice League. Y'all, that's gonna be it for this video. We said we were gonna do 10 minutes. We did 21 minutes. Oops.
Sorry.
But we had a lot to say. Yeah. It was an okay episode of television, but there was a lot of potential in it. Is where I leave off. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. Which, considering the difficulty of what they were handed, I think is actually pretty impressive. Yeah. I think the fact that you started with, well, this is all on fire, and you managed to get to, it was okay, and like showed us where we're headed. I think that's about the best they could have done, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah. I think they did a good job in telling that story. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. We are going to have more spoiler chats coming out throughout the week, because we're going to do one for WandaVision on Friday, so come check that out. Go check out the episodes 1 and 2 spoiler chats from last week. And come check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/nerdynightly. It's where we do the nightly morning show. The logo's in the video. And we also game stream over there and over at twitch.tv/Claris Dracaris. As we always say, my name's David Webb. I'm Arielle Edwards. Do something nerdy tonight. Bye. Bye-bye.